Hello beauties, how are you all doing? I'm back with another new makeup releases. Don't forget to write to me in the comments below what your thoughts are on these releases. If I forgot any releases that you're excited about, write that to me in the description box below. Also, I'm gonna do this eye look with Sugar and Grunge from Blend Bunny. This is a new release. This released like last week. And I'm also going to use Look for Rainbows from Gloss Gods. Gloss Gods has had some very exciting releases recently that we're going to talk about. I'm so excited. If that sounds good to you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Now let's go into the video. As always, I have my coffee. I don't have a candle. Same drill as the past few weeks. I'm trying to be more cognizant of the birds and not doing harmful things for nature. It seems like scented candles might be harmful to animals, and I don't want, even if that's a myth, I don't want to potentially have any negative impact on that. So not gonna do candles today. I'm using Painterly from MAC on my eyes. I think you all saw in the intro what palettes we're gonna be using. I'm so excited for the things we're gonna be talking about today. There's a lot of stuff coming out. I feel like it has kind of gone down, the volume of releases, thankfully for my budget. I can't wait to get started. So let's do it. Let me open my Instagram so that we can get the party rolling. The first thing I want to talk to you all about is that Sugar Drizzle has restocked some of its palettes. If you were waiting for, I think the restock was yesterday. If you were waiting for anything, check their website. Hershey and GlamLite have collabed. GlamLite, we know that is a brand that's very decently priced. I also generally like their quality. I think they're a decent quality, and I've purchased quite a few things from them even this year. They have had a lot of releases this year, beauties. They just had a release that I talked about in my last to buy or not to buy. But okay, if you all can keep up with all the releases, I can understand. Obviously, it's an all-neutral palette, so not for me. Also, I feel like the whole idea of a box of chocolate is just done a little bit too much. Although, in the context of GlamLite, it makes a lot of sense, because GlamLite, if you all remember, they started with naming their palettes food names. So they had like ice cream palette and I don't know, donut palette and so on. So in this context, it makes sense. But if I wanted to pick up something chocolate themed, we've had a few other brands release similar things. ColourPop had a chocolate palette. Juvia's Place had a similar kind of palette. Maybe it wasn't called chocolate, but if I have passed on everything, it just makes no sense to do this right now, particularly that there has been a lot of releases, a lot of stuff that is super colorful that I'm very excited about, obviously, because that's my type of thing. Now, what I found interesting, beauties, was this one. Now, this is also not for me, but I thought the concept of doing a white chocolate was pretty different. Now, I do have to say, Too Faced did this some 3-4 years ago. They had a whole like dark chocolate and light chocolate and milk chocolate and white chocolate and all of that. So they beat that horse to death. But as I said, within the context of GlamLite, it makes sense. I thought this was more innovative than just a palette of all browns, but neither of these palettes is for me because they both look very, very neutral. The next thing I want to talk about is this one from Black Moxie Cosmetics. The palette is called Alien Universe, and it's going to release on July 15th for $40. I have never used Black Moxie, but I've heard about it quite frequently, and I've heard good things. And this palette looks like it has a few multichrome shades. Yeah, it says it's going to be 9 pans, 5 mattes, 3 multichromes, and 1 duo holochrome. And frankly, for that price, if these multichromes really look like that, particularly beauties. You all know I love a pink to gold multichrome. I have done a lot of purchases recently, so it really has to be very different for me to want to pick it up. One thing that I want to start, and let me know what you all think about it is in the comments below, is I want to start building my own shadows, maybe like duping some of the things that I'm thinking I'm going to pass on. Let me know what your thoughts are on that, because I just have way too many single shadows to buy all of these palettes, and I feel like buying these palettes is definitely duping a lot of what I have. And on that note, a good friend of mine gave me the idea to build my own palette and make videos about it. And I did that yesterday. It was an amazingly exciting exercise, and I built you all a palette that we're going to be talking about. I'm not going to show you what it looks like, but it's going to be a summery palette that I curated myself using my singles, and a video about it is going to come up. Stay tuned. Also write to me if you're excited to see that kind of content. The next thing I want to talk about is from Beauty Creations. They have released this. This collection has quite a bit of stuff in it that are not necessarily things that I would use. You know, there are lip trios, there are lashes. Beauties, if you watch my channel, you know I rarely use false lashes. I have very long and thick, dark lashes, so there are certain things that I just don't use. I have used falsies in the past. I don't necessarily feel the need for it because I've had people approach me asking me where I got my lashes. They're mine, which is why I just don't buy them as much, because I feel like it's just a little bit too much for my face, particularly that I have very prominent other kinds of features. It's just going to look too much. Speaking of that, when I did some purchases from GlamLite, they put these two lashes in my order. I had not ordered them, and you know what? I could totally get into this. Choco Lash and Cupcake. First of all, thanks to GlamLite for sending me these. I appreciate that. I don't even think they know I talk about them online, but thank you so much for sending me stuff that I didn't order as gifts. And now that I'm thinking about lashes, maybe I should try them. What do you all think? Write to me in the comments below. Now back to this. The palette is $26, which is not bad, not bad. This is not a palette I'm gonna purchase, and I'll tell you why. This palette is too big and an unnecessarily larger version of this one from Ace Beauté, which is a palette that I already have that I don't even use that much. So if I were to do something, when I see a palette like this, it just reminds me that I should take this palette out and use it more often. I'm probably going to pass on this, but the price is good if this is your kind of thing. Also, that palette is just too large, and it looks like it has too many redundant shades. I'm using Angelica's, what number is this? EO3. And I'm going to go into this color called Skater Girl. And this beautiful pink color is going to go into my crease. Too Faced is coming out with a new mascara primer called Better Than Sex Foreplay. And to be honest, I think the concept of the name kind of makes sense because it's something you do before, you know, the primer is something you do before your mascara. So the name kind of makes sense, although I find the name as a whole kind of tacky. This is $29 and it's already available if you're interested. It says it wears for 24 hours. If you feel like not sleeping at all when you have this on, you can do that. Because who wears a mascara for more than 24 hours? Like, really? It says it's infused with nylon fibers for length and volume. Okay? So if this is your type of thing, yeah, it's available for $29. You can purchase it today. I have had this Better Than Sex mascara. I think this is a tester, and I've never used it. So we're going to use it today. And now that we're talking about mascaras, friends, What's Up Beauty has also released this Voluminizing and Lengthening Mascara for $23, and it's already available. I recently learned about What's Up Beauty. I went on their website, and one thing that sort of attracted my attention is their brushes. Not as much this mascara because I don't use mascaras that often, but the brushes, and I have been eyeing their brushes for a little bit. It's just that they're so expensive. What's Up Beauty is a Japanese brand, correct? Let me know if you know, and let me know if you think their brush sets are worth it. Beauties, there have been some mystery boxes that are still available that have been released from brands. I talked about this in another video. It wasn't a to buy or not to buy video, but another video that I made. It was a get ready with me. I'll tag that below and here on the screen. I'm not going to repeat all those mystery boxes. I believe they're all still available. So if you're interested, you can go check out that video and see if any of those boxes is something you're interested in. I also mentioned, I believe, 1 or 2 releases from Clionadh, and I think those are also still available. And on top of that, there's a new release from Clionadh, and I received an email about this. They're going to be doing something new, which is called Polish Pickup. And the reason I'm talking about this is because, as you all know, I have been in love with the Clionadh nail lacquers that I've picked up. They're doing this thing called a Polish Pickup, which is going to be a monthly collaboration of indie nail polish and handcrafted items based on a chosen theme. Every month, they're going to create a brand new lacquer that sells exclusively on Polish Pickup. I think Polish Pickup is a website. And the polish is going to be available for a limited time only. And they're releasing a polish named Hitchhiking Ghosts. It seems like they had released this shade in the past as a nail lacquer, but this is the 2.0 version of that, and it's going to be sold on Polish Pickup website. I'll link the Polish Pickup website in the description box below if this is something you're interested in. The description of the shade is an indigo base with pink, gold, lime, emerald shifting shimmers, pink, orange, gold, green iridescent flakes, and a holographic micro glitter. I can tell you all that based on personal experience, Clionadh nail lacquers don't look like any nail lacquer that I've used anywhere else. And this polish is going to be available from the 7th of July to the 10th of July. Beauties, I saw somewhere that Unearthly Cosmetics released an image that they are collabing with Doodles by the Bunny on a new release. I have been trying to find that image on Instagram and I haven't been. Hopefully I'll find it and I can put it on the screen, but something is happening and I'm excited. Also, Unearthly Cosmetics is having a mystery bundle. I talked about in that other video that I was just talking about with all the other mystery bundles, just saying, because somehow it went under the radar and nobody has been talking about it, although they've announced it for quite a bit. So if that is something you're curious about, we all know they have released other mystery bundles in the past. I've even featured one in this channel, and usually in those mystery bundles they release things that are not available on their website, so they're pretty exciting. Going back into this beautiful palette, I'm using Morphe times Nyan, the small brush. I love these brushes. I got them at TJ Maxx and they have very small heads. I'm loving that. I'm going to go into this dark color, Moody. Beauties, I love this dark color. I've been using this palette already, making a video review of the palette for you all, and I've used this color already, and it's a beautiful color and it works amazing. And I'm putting this out here. It seems like Electrum Cosmetics is releasing what they call the Celestial Witch palette, and it's already available. Also, beauties, with some of these stuff that I've mentioned, you might be able to get some discount if you use someone's code, so don't forget to do that. This palette retails for $75 US plus shipping, and the palette's magnetic, so you can get the shades out and use them as single. 6 of the shades are multichromes and 3 are holographic. Electrum Cosmetics I've heard about in the past. We've talked about it before in To Buy or Not to Buys. I don't own anything from them, but they're one of those brands that always have very shifty, sparkly, innovative type of stuff that I've been kind of looking at, thinking it's going to happen one of these days. I remember they had a sort of a mermaidy palette last year, end of last year or something, and yeah, I don't know if I have the budget right now to purchase this. If so many things hadn't been blowing up my Instagram and this had released a little earlier, maybe I would have purchased it. Also, beauties, you can purchase these as singles as well. You don't have to purchase them as a palette. Let's talk about this one, beauties, because I've talked about Bella Beauty Bar frequently in this channel. They are now releasing these. It seems like these are lip glosses infused with hemp seed oil and peppermint oil, and they are multichrome. They give you a multichrome dewy lip effect. They look beautiful. These excite me if there were eyeglasses. Honestly, they would excite me more if there were eyeglasses. And eyegloss is something that when I was talking about all of the eyegloss releases last year, I said this should just die. This is a ridiculous release. But something like this as eyegloss would have been so exciting. Because I feel like shimmery lips is a very 1980s kind of a trend. Do people even do that these days? I don't know. I'm a very matte lip type of a person. I don't even use gloss. You all know that. So not for me, but they're beautiful. If this is your thing, I'm jealous knowing that this is beautiful. Okay, let's move on. Beauties, I saw this and I had to talk about it because these are from Rude, which I have reviewed in this channel. I have purchased quite a bit of their palette at TJ Maxx, and they were very good quality. So this is a brand that I'm just like, this brand has good stuff. These look like shimmery eyeliners. Now, when I see the picture, it looks like it's glittery eyeliners, but the description says that these are shimmery, so I'm assuming there's no glitter in it. If you know otherwise, please write it in the comments below because I'm curious. I want to make sure I'm not misinforming people, but also the name also says gimme shimmer. It doesn't say gimme glitter. This is coming in 8 shades. I have what this is a dupe for, which is Urban Decay's shimmer liners. You all remember those? I don't know if anybody ever talks about Urban Decay these days. I don't know what happened to those. Maybe they still exist, and those are and have been amazing. I think I have 3 of them, and I love those. Although I don't wear liners, at times in the past, I would just rock a one liner look, and it would be one of those liners because they're just amazing. But they were a little pricey compared to this because this is going to be $5.50. So I'm really curious to know if this is a real dupe for those. Who knows? If I see these somewhere, I might pick one up just to test and see, because I should still have some of my Urban Decay liners. Good Lord, beauties, let's talk about this one, because this is something that I was just like, everybody's doing it now. And that is Multichrome Liners. You all remember I mentioned this, like, I think in my every single to buy or not to buy in the past like 2 months. I've been talking about some new brand coming out with multichrome liner, either iridescent multichrome or regular multichrome, particularly these 2 double-ended where one side is iridescent, one side is black based, and now Notoriously Morbid is coming out with these. I purchased these multichrome liners, let me show you all, when Sugar Drizzle released them, like last October or something like that. I bought them when they launched, and I haven't used them to date. So knowing that, and knowing how much I use liners on my eyes, which is very infrequently, I actually like to use more often. Would I buy these? No. Do I say you should go and buy multichrome liners? I think you can get nice effects with multichrome liners if you're very much into doing exciting makeup. The point of wearing multichromes is for the shift to show. Now the thing is, when it's just a liner, someone really has to be close enough to your eye to be able to see the shift as you're moving your eye, and you of course need to put it on enough of a surface to show the shifts. With that said, is liner a good thing? I don't know. I don't want to say one way or the other, but I can tell you that I told you so. I knew these are going to be everywhere. A trend of this year. If you all are curious, this palette has a little bit of kick up, and we have seen that from Blend Bunny. And now that we're on the topic of multichromes, let's also talk about this one. It looks like Nabla is releasing multichromes. This is a sneak peek, and I don't have any information beyond this. They're calling these Magic Chrome eyeshadows. I can't wait to see what they're going to show us. Let's talk a little bit about lip stuff. The first thing I want to talk about is Magic Lip Oils from Juvia's Place. I have mentioned that I've used lip oils in the past. I use the ones that ColourPop released when they just released these because I have choppy lips pretty much all the time, and I've realized that lip oils don't really do it justice for me. I need something more thick than lip oils, otherwise I'm still gonna have choppy lips. So not a product for me. I need something more potent. But if this is your kind of thing, the colors look exciting and very summery, so do the names, because they're all named after summery and generally just exciting and delicious fruits. And they are $10, which is a great price for Juvia's quality. Let's talk about this one because I always talk about Sydney Grace's releases for the month, and this is going to be the release for the month of July. This is already available. I don't have a price. Oh, I do. It's $21 for the bundle of 5 things, and you're going to get the sticker with it as well. I've heard amazing things about Sydney Grace overall. The bundle that they did, the retro, was it retro glam that they did in memory of Mel Thompson? I purchased that. I haven't actually used it that often because it's a little bit more neutral than I use, but I'm looking forward to them having the Christmas in July sale, which they usually do have towards the end of July, and I think I'm gonna pick a few things because I've actually been waiting for that sale. So I have put some budget aside to pick some things from that sale so that I can have more of an opinion when I talk about Sydney Grace. But as I said, I've heard amazing things about the brand. Beauties, let's talk about a few prestige brands. The first one I want to talk about is Too Faced, although Too Faced is not an indie brand. I think they're owned by Estee Lauder at this point, but whatever. Let's talk about it real quick. They have released Cosmic Crush, this palette of literally 90% browns and 1 pink color. So moving on. Actually, let me give you a price if this is something you're interested in. The palette's $52, and there's going to be 2 highlighters for $36 each. $36 for a highlighter, beauties. And they also have a lip gloss called Lip Injection Maximum Plump Lip Gloss for $33. This is the reason why I don't talk about non-indie brands, because I feel like they release something very meh and they charge you $33 for it. Like, seriously? If this is your kind of thing, no judgment. You're obviously, I don't even need to tell you that you're free to use your money however makes you happy. If this makes you happy, go buy it. I'm gonna be so happy for you. It's just that it's too neutral for me. And then they also released these 2 things, Pop-Tart Brown Sugar Cinnamon Mini Eyeshadow Palette. I'm actually not that unhappy with this. This is a nice 8 pan. It's just that it's neutral. And then we also have this one, which is another Pop-Tart Frosted Strawberry Mini Eyeshadow Palette for also $27. This is also an 8 shade palette. Now I'm more excited about obviously the strawberry one than the other one, but I have already purchased a palette that I mentioned in my last video that I'm going to purchase, the new palette from Gourmand Girls in collaboration with Siria Soto, which has some neutral colors, some pink colors. So not in a market for something like this at this point, separate from the fact that I can guarantee you I have 200 dupes for this palette. This kind of concept and color story is as old as 2017, as old as modern Renaissance. So when was that? 2016, 2017. But anyway, if this is your thing, it's available and it's $27. So these kinds of eyeshadow palettes are not my cup of tea. And I'm also not judging you wanting to spend whatever amount of money that makes you happy, because I'm going to roast myself in a second for you all to tell you that I purchased this palette from Clionadh for $96. This is an 8 shadow palette from Clionadh, and you're going to see a review of it very soon in this channel. And I think this palette was worth every cent. This palette is amazing. So my kind of 8 shadow palette is this. This is amazing. I'm so excited to have it. And this was and I paid $96 for this. So no judgment if you want to spend $27 for this. But it's a lighthearted video. We're just having fun here. Okay, beauties, the next thing I want to talk about, I mean, this is not really something I want to talk about, but it's here, so let's talk about it. SheGlam is releasing Vinyl Pop Color Palette Color Me Crazy. I am not sure what that circular thing is that just part of the design, or is that like something you can use on your eyes or maybe on your lips or something? SheGlam is the makeup brand of Shein, which is a Chinese manufacturer, and I think they're mostly known for their fast fashion brand, and fast fashion is not my thing. I care too much about the environment, and I try to, even if I buy things that are manufactured as fast fashion, I try to keep them and use them for years. So not my type of thing, but it's available and it's $8 each. So if this is your kind of thing, it exists. But even if this wasn't SheGlam and it was ColourPop, I would tell you that this looks like Claire's makeup. Okay, beauties, let's talk about this one because this excited me. Glisten Cosmetics, which is very much known for their water activated liners of all kinds of colors, is now releasing, or has released, it's available already, 7 shades of colorful mascaras. With Glisten Cosmetics, you can use people's code. Don't forget to do that if you're purchasing. I do not have a price, but this collection is called Spectra Lash. Because I have extremely black and thick eyelashes, colorful lashes don't really show up on me. I have to like really overkill. I like do many layers, and you know, by the time I do the 5th layer, it's just gonna look kind of ridiculous. But I like the idea of using colorful lashes, even if they don't show off very much on me. Maybe we can test a few in this channel. Yeah, so I'm excited about this. It's probably not something I'm gonna go pick up at launch. I mean, it's already launched, so definitely can't pick it up at launch unless I had a time machine. But not something that I'm thinking, oh, I absolutely need to have today. But this is something that if I'm like, oh, Glisten Cosmetics is having a sale, I would pick one. I think that last time when I made my last to buy or not to buy, this palette had not been fully revealed, and I think I kind of guessed the colors, and then I ended up being correct. Woohoo! I ended up being correct for the colors. I was just like, Velveteen reminds me of purple, and I don't know, Succulent reminds me of green, and the colors end up being exactly that. So hey, so I like that. Shroud is a lovely brand. I own a lot of stuff by them. I own a good bit of their palettes. I've talked about a bit of their palettes. I've done multiple reviews. I've talked about them in a lot of my palette lists as like favorite palettes or palettes I liked. But right now, I don't need these colors. And the reason I don't need these colors is because, you know, these are colors that I think they're releasing because these are pastels, and pastels are mostly colors for the summer. But if you all follow my channel, you know I'm not a huge pastel person. I always have to combine pastels with other colors. So it's not a thing that I would be running to pick up. Okay, as I mentioned, everybody and their mother is releasing Multichrome Liners, and that includes Unearthly Cosmetics. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Unearthly Cosmetics. I feel like every time I've talked about them, I've had amazing things to say. I have recently purchased some of their most expensive palettes, so I would not spend that much money on any brand if I didn't have positive things to say about them. It's just that everybody's releasing these. And I haven't even used the ones that I have. I mean, maybe there's market demand. Evidently there is. Otherwise, everybody wouldn't be releasing. Hopefully they've done some research and they know for a fact that not everybody's buying and putting it on the shelf like me. Anyway, they are releasing quite a bit of these. They have the Immortal Liner Set Cursed for $36 and Immortal Liner Set Hexed for $36. So, as I said, I have very high opinion of this brand based on experience and what I've seen from them, and I've purchased quite a bit of things from them. So if this is your thing, if you've been waiting on purchasing multichrome liners from them, now is your chance. Also, I mentioned earlier, but just recapping, they have released 2 mystery boxes for the summer. So and nobody's talked about them. So if those are things you want, also add them to cart while doing this. Beauties, let's talk about this one, because when I saw this, I was like, wow, that's beautiful. And that is Give Me Glow's Butterfly Vibes palette. This palette's beautiful. I think the idea is for it to remind you of the early 2000s. It's already available for $54. I can guarantee you that if I had not purchased so many things right now, I would purchase this palette. The one thing that makes me go, is that it has plastic packaging. Clarity Cosmetics has released 13 brushes. I don't know if they had brushes in the past. And these look like at least 12 of them are eye brushes, and some look like very small eye brushes. And I'm curious. You all know I'm always in the market for brushes. So, oh, another thing, beauties, and I checked this on the Melt website before coming to sit to film, and that is that Muerte palette is back. I think they brought it back like about a week ago, and I checked to make sure it's back still, and it still is. If this is a palette you've been waiting for, it's back. I know people who have been waiting for this, clearly, otherwise it wouldn't come back. So if you've been waiting, it's available and it still is. Just go on the website and buy it. Oh, beauties, we talked about Give Me Glow. Let me also talk about this one. They are releasing water activated liners. Actually, they've already released them. They released on June 30th. So they will have these split pan options, as we have already talked about multiple times in this video, let alone in my other videos. I don't really use liners very often. Hint, 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 hint. I buy them and I just leave them around the house. So I think I would opt for using the ones that I have already before picking up new ones. Beauties, let me talk about this one because I already picked this up. Copacetic Cosmetics had their 6th birthday. I talked about in that Get Ready With Me video where I talked about the sales. They were having a sale, and I picked a few things from them that we're going to be talking about as soon as I receive them, including one of these. Yeah, so these are smooth iridescent highlighters enriched with shifting shimmers. This is part of their summer collection. Now this also has a cat paw on it, which is insanely cute. I picked the small size because I don't really use highlighters that often, but I really wanted to have one of these, and you know, maybe it's time for me to use highlighters more often. And as I mentioned, I also picked up a few other things from them while they were having the sale. I think the sale ended, unfortunately, but you can check their website just in case. Also, this is a new release, so this was not part of the sale. Industrial 2.0 collection from Isamaya. Now, I'm so confused about this brand, beauties, and I was actually talking about it to a friend yesterday because, first of all, they release things that I think I'm just not a demographic for, because like they had lipsticks that were just very unappealing and distastefully looking. If you all know what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to show any photos or anything because I feel like they were just so distasteful. I don't even want to bring attention to them. But I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because I have heard about them. So I went on their website yesterday, and the whole marketing and the video on their website gave me the serial killer vibe. Just go to their website if you're curious. To me, that's disturbing. That is not funny or interesting. Which is why I was like, okay, this is not something I would even want to touch. My friend and I were also talking about the name Industrial because usually eyeshadow palettes have very lighthearted, fun-loving, exciting, and glam-related type of names. And when I hear Industrial, my friend was saying, you know, it could have been with a fun twist, like naming the colors Concrete and, I don't know, Grease Oil, and names that would make you laugh. But at this point, I'm not sure if I'm understanding the vibe of this brand, and also it's extremely pricey. What it appears to me, based on the release of that lipstick and all of those things, is that the brand is trying to create some shock value to make you want to follow them or make people interested. To me, it just seems very distasteful. So clearly, I'm not the audience for it. But if this is your thing, this eyeshadow for Industrial 2.0 goes for $115. I mean, separate from the fact that the color is also just, it looks like it's an all shimmer palette. So, okay, not something I'm gonna buy. The thing we're gonna talk about after this is worth way more to me than this. But this is $115, and then there's 2 lip glosses, I believe, or 3 lip glosses, or lip lacquers, maximizing lip serum for $38 each. If you're interested, if this is your aesthetics and your vibes, and if this is your price range, this is available already on their website. And now the moment of truth, which is this something I'm super excited about. And that is this from Gloss Gods. So Gloss Gods released Sky Collection Volume 2, the whole bundle. And what is so exciting to me is that in this release, in the purple palette, there is going to be some matte shades, because if you all know some of the things I've been complaining about, some of their past palettes, and I have 4 or 5 of their palettes already, except for one 9-pan that I purchased. The other 4 palettes that I have, there are 12 pans, are all shimmers. I have their first Sky collection. This is one of the palettes in the Sky. And then I also have the second palette in the Sky Collection 1, which is called Dancing in the Sky. And I have a video dedicated to that. I'll tag it in the description box below if you're curious. But I highly recommend these palettes. These are just amazing. I also have videos with some of their other collections. They have the Gala Moon and Gala Mars, and I have a video on Gala Mars. I'll also tag that in the description box below, just so you kind of get familiarized with my perspective of the brand as a whole. I picked this bundle at launch. And I also added a couple of other things. I'm not going to say what else I purchased, but it's on its way to me, and as soon as I receive it, we're going to talk about it in this channel, obviously. So I can't wait to receive that. I'm so excited. And with that said, let me begin working with this. Now, beauties, I realize this base booster from BH Cosmetics says that this is for glitter and shadow glue. So I'm going to just use it as a glitter glue or instead of NYX's glitter primer today. And I'm going to put this across at least 2/3 of the inner part of my lid. Okay, friends, I'm now going to go into this color called Spectrum, which is a beautiful, beautiful, this is one of those like super, super wet looking pinks with a shift of blue and a shift from this angle. It has a shift of purple. I think from you all's angle, it has a shift of green. It's just a beautiful color, and I can't wait to use it. And I'm going to put it at the center here. Okay, beauties, now that we talked about Gloss Gods and how excited I am to receive what I purchased from them, let's also talk about this one. Pretties for Your Face is launching some new stuff. This is called a rainbow set of multichromes. It's going to have 6 new shades of multichromes in the collection, and they're available as a set or individually or as part of building your own bundle. And you can also get 20% off if you use someone's code on these. And now that we're talking about international brands, beauties, Glam Shop has been having a clearance sale, and it's still ongoing. I might have mentioned it in another video. It's still ongoing. If you've been waiting on a Glam Shop sale, there's a lot of stuff on their website that is, you know, I think when it goes, it goes. So particularly their singles are great. I love their singles. I have a video of swatching all of the singles I have from Glam Shop. Frankly, if I hadn't bought so many things recently, I would probably buy more from Glam Shop. So if you are curious about my thoughts and how they swatch and so on, I'll tag that video of the singles swatches that I've done in the description box below. If you have been waiting on Glam Shop for a sale, go and check out their website. But now that we're talking about pretties for your face, let's also talk about Pastel Rose's UK Beauties, because they have released a few things for the summer, and I think these are already available. There is the Wild Tropics eyeshadow palette, which is beautiful. All those neon colors. I just can't spend any more right now. And then they'll have the Floral Temptation eyeshadow palette. And this one is much more neutral. Beautiful colors still, but just more neutral, so not something I'm interested in at the moment. And now that we're talking about European brands, beauties, let me also not forget a release that I'm very excited about, and I actually might end up picking up, and that is this one from Unearthly Cosmetics. Unearthly is a French brand. The collection is called Neon Nitro Speed, and it is extremely colorful, friends. If it did not have a face palette, which I'm not so excited about, I even considered picking up the full collection, because I I don't know why I'm interested in picking up eye pencils when I don't really use them very often, but I thought, you know, this could be a good review of the brand if I pick up a few things from them now that it's coming all the way from France. But I know the palette is also available on Beauty Bay for purchase if you don't want to buy from Martine website, because I know Martine website is in French. So, okay, beauties, I'm going to use this brush from Cleona's Dragon Fruit collection. And I'm going to go into this color. This is sort of a very light lime green. It's called Shine Through. And I'm going to put this in my inner corner. I'm trying to add a little bit of pizzazz and brightness and maybe warmth into this whole look that is kind of turning cool toned. This is kind of a flaky color, which is why I'm trying to put it over a tacky base. I'm loving that color in my inner corner. Now with a flat brush, I'm going to go into Moody and I'm just going to do my lower lash line like that. And I'm now going to use the first brush with whatever's left on it, and I'm just going to diffuse this out. Okay, beauties, let's quickly talk about this one, which is our last item. And some of you might be very excited about this. This is Natasha Denona's Mini Starlet palette. These palettes used to go for $25. I'm not sure if they're still the same price. Obviously very nude, not my type of thing. I also don't really have the budget for Natasha Denona level prices. And beauties, let me talk about this last one just because I'm a human being with always chapped lips and I always need some lip pampering. And when I saw this, I thought this is just so cute. I also love gummy bears. This is Jelly Bear Hydrating Primer for your pre-makeup routine, released from Winky Lux. And it is, I actually don't have a price, but Winky Lux is sold at Target, so I don't imagine it's too pricey. This concept is something that I'm always in the market for, so who knows, maybe next time I'm in Target, I might just pick one up and test it for you all, as well as picking up some gummy bears. Okay, beauties, as promised, I'm gonna use some Better Than Sex Mascara on my eyelashes. I also went ahead and used some Moody, which is one of the liquid lipsticks that released with Sugar and Grunge eyeshadow palette from Blend Bunny. And with that, we come to the end of this video, beauties. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, write to me if you have any particular opinions about any of these palettes. I always love to hear from you all and see where we agree, where we disagree. Again, it's totally okay to not agree. We don't have probably the same skin color. Maybe we might not have the same skin tone. We might just have different preferences, and it's all good. This is just lighthearted conversation, all for fun. So if you disagree with me, feel free to tell me. If there was any of these products that you tried and you recommend, feel free to write that in the comments below. I'd love to hear that. Thanks again, beauties. I love you all. Have an amazing day. And until next time, bye.